Welcome to Pack Mates, a podcast about Magic the Gathering Limited, where we take a dive into the current limited formats. The Pack Mates are a group of friendly card sharks that love drafting, hanging out, and going to FNM. Don't forget to check out our socials and join the Discord. Links are in the description. Please like and subscribe, rate the podcast. All that stuff helps a ton. I'm Ryan, the blue-white expert.
I'm Robi. Oh man, already going off the script. I'm Robi, the resident turtle expert.
I'm Andrew, the resident aggro expert this week.
Oh wow, that's like a stab in the heart. All right, this week we're talking about FNM. We're gonna do
who
some
are you,
archetypes.
Ryan?
I already said mine.
Oh, you did first. Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Got all
and
Robi, I need you to calm down, okay?
Packmates?
Okay.
Got him.
This week we're talking about FNM, and we're kind of doing just like a sunset show, like a set and review type vibe show. We're gonna talk about some archetypes that we liked and some cards that we liked, and just some general overtakes of the format.
And
We are the Pack
Mates.
Got him.
And we're going with Andrew first this week because he's coming in hot.
Yeah, there we go. Got my little 3-0 this week. I ran it back, actually. I had so much fun last week playing Boros, the red-white. I thought, wow, I should probably do it again. And so I did the same kind of thing happened, actually. Except this time I added I had an Archfiend of the Dross. That's the 6/6 flyer. The double black guy that I did not play again this week. And I did not play a Phyrexia as well. I pulled the Phyrexia last pack and said, nope, I'm going to stay the course and just keep all these sideboard all-stars over here. But no, this week was kind of fun. This one, I actually had more of the traditional kind of Boros way with the Jor Kadeen first Golden Warden. That's the 2/2 white red. It has trample. It's a human rebel. And then when it gets +X equal to the number of equipped creatures you control, and then if it has 4 or greater, when it attacks, you get to draw a card. So that's pretty nice. And then I had 2 Barb Batterfist, real all-stars in this format. You know, it's the 4 Mirrodin card. It's 1 red, 1 colorless. It comes in with that 2/2 rebel creature, and then it gives the creature +1/-1, so you get a 3/1 for 2, which is pretty nice. And then one of my favorites, Axiom Engraver, real good guy, but the real all-star of this deck was my double Annex Sentry. They just did so much work this week with the Indoctrination Attendant. I talked about it last week about grabbing tokens with the Annex Sentry, then bringing them back with the Attendant. I did that this week, and it felt pretty good.
Super good.
Yeah. And then the sneaky, I got to actually ultimate Nahiri for the win at one point with an Annex Sentry in my graveyard. I was like, oh, this is pretty good. And so I was like, okay, just, exile your guy and I'll just win the turn. So I did 8 damage out of nowhere with that, just by equipping the Annex Sentry with all my equipments and just going for it. It was a lot of fun this week. A lot of poisoning going on with the Crawling Chorus. And so it just didn't feel bad. It was kind of a mixed damage thing where it's kind of weird. I don't think Boros is really the toxic deck, but all the white creatures had toxic on them. And so I was able to kind of do that kind of strategy as well. So putting double pressure on everybody. Vertus Strider, all-star. That guy was so good. I didn't think he would meld well in this kind of deck, but apparently a 4/5 haste guy is pretty good.
Who knew? Who knew?
Who knew?
4/5 haste are good for 5. I had no idea.
Probably not me. I'm sure I had it I'm pretty sure I rated that pretty low at some point.
I remember that. Yeah.
Maybe a 4. Maybe it was around a 4. Who knows?
Oh man, yeah, just a fun week. I had a good time. I get to draft some stuff that I just normally wouldn't draft, or normally just wouldn't try. But I just had so much fun last week. I said I want to have fun again.
Dude, I saw you cast Indoctrination Attendant to pick up a Barb Batterfist and make another token, and you had Blade Graft aspiring out, so Barb Batterfist costs 1 red, and it was insane.
Felt pretty good. I forgot about that. Yeah,
I was like my eyes were just super wide. I was like, oh my god, Indoctrination Attendant goes in this deck, in the Boros deck, a lot.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I wish I would have got more Blade Graft aspirant. I didn't respect it enough, and I really should have more respect.
Week 1, I tried to tell you. Week 1, early on this format, I was like, dude, Blade Graft aspirant goes in the deck, but I don't know why I never connected the dots with the Indoctrination Attendant too, but that was sick.
Yeah, indoctrination attendant, man. I put respect on that guy's name for sure. That guy has been every time I played him, I just felt good.
He's just good. He's just super good. Like
Every bit of that guy. The might is actually like people just forget about the mites. They just stack up like you're not attacking with them, and then you just out of nowhere you're just poisoning them out. They're like, when the heck did that happen? So man, yeah, Blade Draft Aspirant though. I wish I'd have gotten a second one in this deck. I thought it would have been pretty good. That menace is actually good, and even equipping to him for like nothing is good. Like you just move over the Bar Batterfist, get a 2/2.
Yeah. Early in the format, I had a deck with like 3 or 4 of them, and it was insane. With my Mirrodin and Bardiche costing like 3, like it's so
Remember
stupid.
that actually? Yeah, I think I remember you talking about that.
But man,
Yeah.
I missed out on the indoctrination attendant tech though.
Nahiri's
Could've been
Nahiri's
worse.
all right. I could see why Nahiri's like not the most desirable planeswalkers, but it did the job. It was
She
made
goes
with-
in this deck, right?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
literally
Like, this is like the
one
only
deck.
deck she really goes in. She like her ultimate. You said an ultimate, but like it's like
a
mega
zero.
free. It's
Yeah.
mega free, right? Most
Yeah.
of the time.
Yeah.
Like you just get a 5-drop. Like you aren't usually ever having anything over 5 mana in your graveyard anyways.
Yeah.
So like yeah, it's
It was
mega
cool.
free.
Yeah, it was a
Yep.
lot of fun. Yeah, she was good. I really just used her as my #1 all-star goblin picker.
Yeah. Sounds
she,
good.
she was definitely a planeswalker goblin picker. I liked
Yep.
it.
What was your record this week?
3-0 with a bye.
Nice.
With a
And I
bye.
want to say very good curve for the format. Like ton of 2 drops, less 3
Solid,
drops,
yeah.
and even less 4 and 5 drops. Like very, very good snapshot deck of the format, I think. So good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right,
All right.
Ryan, tell us about your deck.
All right, I went pretty much basic Gruul, except lacking the 1 and 2 drops that you really want, the Rustvine Cultivators, the Axiom Engravers. I had just super premium 3 drops again, besides Magmatic Sprinter, which I just put in like because I wanted to, I guess. That's the 3/2 haste that puts oil counters on stuff. But like I had Miglos, the 4/4 red green guy. I had Bloated Contaminator, the 4/4 toxic 1 proliferate guy. I had 3 Contagious Vorax and 2 Ichorplate Golems and like 2 Furnace Striders and a Cinder Slash Ravager, and that was pretty much the strat. Like play premium 3 drops into premium 5 drops and went 2-1, had a couple bad games, had a bad matchup. And yeah, the deck was fun, worked well. I think in order to win the bad matchup I had, I needed more Axiom Engravers and 1 drops. I think that was really my weakness. So
Yep.
Yeah, this looks like the stock. Like all the creatures here are the guys that I want to see when I play my Gruul deck, especially that Migos has. Obviously,
Yeah,
but like
I'll
even-
say that. But
Yeah.
like the curve is so scuffed on this.
yeah, it really is.
Like
it's like a W or something.
yeah, basically.
Yeah.
It's like the
well, hey,
triple peak.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're counting 4 cards as a peak, that's a bit wild.
It's
But-
bigger than the rest. It's higher than the lowest points, right?
Like I kind of try to do a little trust the process deck where like I saw the Vorax late, I saw the Furnace Striders late, and assumed that like I would get some removal or some 2 drops.
Yeah.
And it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm lacking removal. I'm lacking early game. If the game took more than like 8 turns, like I was gonna like do a lot of stuff, right? But
Yeah. The battle chair looks a little sus. That's the 6/6. Well, it's a +4/+4 equipment with a 2/2 on it because it has a 4 Mirrodin.
I played it with haste one game and it was pretty sick.
Oh, that's pretty
Furnace
good.
Strider into battle
Oh.
chair,
That's
and then I
pretty
gave it lifelink to turn after with Skitterfang.
This may be one of the only decks I think Magnetic Sprinter might be good in. I mean, look,
It
you got a lot.
wasn't.
It wasn't.
It's
Oh,
not good.
no,
It's
that's
not good.
unfortunate.
Like
super bad.
honestly,
Yeah.
I forget that terrible 1-drop artifact uncommon would have been way better than it in this deck. That
Yeah.
spreads around oil counters.
Oh
makes
yeah.
sense.
Turning
Probably.
reservoir,
Yeah.
Pretty bad.
But like I also had the land that copies artifacts.
Mm.
And I used that to make an Ichorplate Golem to like give my guys double anthem a couple times, and that was kind of insane.
That's good enough.
Yeah, you
Mycostein's
definitely need
Gardens.
more oil.
Yeah, I needed more of everything and less 5 and 4 drops. But like,
Yeah. You need less 3 drops, honestly. Like,
Yeah, like if you look at my cards, like none
All
of
your
the
3-drops are
well,
red. Yeah, except
yeah, like all my
Sprinter.
3-drops
Sprinter's
are
fine.
good. Like all my 1-drops are like really good. Like Scamp, Flame Soaker's a rare, Evolving Adaptive's insane, which I never drew.
Mhm.
My 2-drops are fine. There's just not enough of them. My 4-drops are sus, and my 5-drops plus are like a little bit sus. Like I'd rather not have the Battle Chair, the Rebuke, the Lattice Blade, the Hazardous Blast, and I'd rather that be 1 and 2 drops in removal.
Yeah. Man, if
Right.
this deck had another like rust, if this had 2 Rust Fallen Cultivators, this probably would have been insane, right?
Yeah.
Probably 3. Probably
Three.
3 would have made
He
it.
doesn't have the curve to have a bunch of Rust-Vine cultivators, I don't think, though. Like the curve you want is like you want your 4-drop slot stacked, right?
Well, and your 5-drop, right?
Or
Like
5-drop,
Furnace
yeah.
Strider on foil was insane. I did one game. I did do Rustfine Cultivator, Axiom Engraver, Vorak, Furnace Strider, and it was like stupid.
Yeah,
Ugh.
that's so unlikely in here though.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you're more likely to just have like a handful of 3-drops every single game.
My
Right?
like I was looking for like a 1 or a 2-drop, and then some 3-drops was like
Yeah.
kind of the goal of the hands. But
Yeah.
yep, went 2-1. It
Got
was
the
fun.
vibes. Yep. Sounds good.
What about your
And
deck, Roby?
oh, this week I played Demir. And just to preface this, me and Ryan were in the same pod. I played Demir with all of the removal that Ryan's deck needed. So I just started seeing like red removal, and I just like was like, whatever. I guess I'll just throw this in my deck. So I'm like Demir with red in it, just for a Hex Gold Slash, Rebel Salvo, and a Volt Charge.
Oh my God.
And yeah, it was super mediocre. I was like hella cut off everywhere. I had to play like a lot of really bad cards, like a Testament Bearer. Testament Bearer is not like the worst thing in the world, but like I was just hard up for playables, honestly.
Yeah.
No.
Hmm.
I
The-
have 2 poison cards in my deck. 2 of like the poison instants or sorceries, which is like way too low.
Oh man.
I have 1 prologue to Phyrexia and 1 infectious inquiry. But I also have 2 skull dwellers, so like I was able to get that first poison counter on.
Yeah.
Better than I should have been. But yeah, I just ended up going 2-1. I lost to Gruul, and which is like normally a good matchup for Demir, because normally you have like Vraska's falls and stuff.
Mhm.
But my opponent played that 3-drop artifact, Urborusks. What is it called? Oh, the 3-drop one that gets an oil counter at the beginning of combat.
Yeah,
And like,
Forge or something?
yeah,
it's
that
oh.
Urborusks Forge. And like, as soon as they played it, I was tapped out. I was like, okay, so now I just lose because my deck has absolutely zero meaningful way to deal with this in any way. So
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's the
there's
one that makes
no
like
way
a
I'm
1/1 trampler, then a
Yeah.
2/1, then a 3/1, then a 4/1.
Yeah, and like, yeah.
Like a lot of people lose to that, I think.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
card's pretty insane.
Yeah, but it was Demir. I had bad emergence. I never ended up playing it. I think it could have been good though. But
It's interesting. I kind of
It's
wondered
okay.
about that when I saw it. I was
it's like
like,
a win con, right? Like
Yeah.
a bad win con.
Like
Yeah,
you just
that-
hope your opponent has a decent creature type
Yeah.
win con.
Yeah, because I got 3 bring landings. I'm putting
Still,
stuff in
you're
the graveyard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm countering big stuff, right? So
You got annoy, I guess annoy
Yeah.
exiles.
Annoying exiles. That's I've
Yeah,
got
that-
Rebel Salvo, Volt
Yeah.
Charge, and Hex Gold Slash. Like
You
yeah.
can always get a Gataxian Raptor for another 4 damage. That's not terrible.
It also gives you a proliferate too.
Yeah.
So it works. It's like a bad proliferate card.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's okay. My only rare was Ran, and it kind of was like whatever. Ran Executioner thing. Whenever a
Yeah.
creature you control dies, your opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. And I have like 7 creatures in my deck, so like it didn't matter really.
Oh,
I
man.
put
2
the
for 2.
flesh. I put that fleshless gladiator in there just because I thought it could possibly be a cute combo, but
Yeah.
it never happened.
Like 2 mana to draw a card with Chittering Skitterling, right? Like
Yeah,
that would be
Yeah.
sick.
it's not real life though.
Yeah, sure.
It also like deals damage to you when it comes back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like it's like not good. I guess if you have like Ran, like it gains you life, so you only lose so you gain 1 life instead of 2, but
Yeah, if you
So,
have
yeah.
exactly Vran, Chittering Citterling, they're corrupted, and Flushless Gladiator, and 2 mana because you're saving up mana for Bring the Ending. Sure.
Yep.
How'd you do this week?
I went 2-1. But yep, it was okay.
Looks like the splash was like absolutely necessary. Is that true?
Like I didn't have any other blue or black cards. like realistically, like yeah, like I didn't have any other things to put in. Yeah. But I did the work to get it working. Like my mana, I got screwed in one game, my first game, but after that it was smooth sailing. Like
Nice.
I've got 2 Dune Movers and a Terramorphic Expanse, right? Like
Yeah.
it's pretty easy to get it unlocked. But
Very nice.
yeah, I was running one mountain.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be I'm gonna be sad whenever we go to a new format and we can't just run one of each basic in our decks.
Strixhaven like really messed people up.
Yeah, because of the
And they
one.
think you can just run one of whatever, but like anytime there's like incidental mill in the format, like it's just gonna body people like you.
Oh, it's so good.
That never really happens though.
Like if there was, but like if like Dune Mover was in the set and there was like a card that's like each player mills and it's like a 3/3, like that would like absolutely destroy. You know what I mean? Like the one color splash. It happens. It happens sometimes. Don't say it never it happens. I've literally done that to people in tournaments before. They cried and they're like land screwed and happy, and then they're like, "Oh yes," and they put it on the top. This was like a hyper competitive tournament, like at a GP, but like, and then I was like, "Mill it." Mill it.
I've definitely milled my splash color before. I was like, "Oh, I'm just never gonna cast 2 of these cards in my deck now." Okay.
Yeah.
It felt real bad.
Yeah. I've done it in Midnight Hunt, but like we also had the pumpkin, right? The pumpkin that like you could exile from your graveyard. I would love to
That was
see
good.
more of that come back.
Yeah,
like,
that was good.
That was such
fun.
a fun card.
Yeah. Man, the pumpkin was really good. Man.
Oh, I've had decks with like 5 or 6 of them just splashing wild nonsense. Like I've had like the most pumpkin deck you could ever have. Like oh yeah. It was an artifact. It cost 1 mana. And whenever it came into play, I exiled a card from their graveyard. You could sack it to draw a card. And then when it was in your graveyard, you could exile it and add it costs 1 mana, exile it, and you can add 1 mana of any color. So it's like a treasure token in your graveyard.
Filter, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a filter, right? Like it was super fun.
Yeah.
Definitely like the pumpkin or
Oh,
pumpkin
yeah.
friendly.
I don't even remember the name of it. It just had that pumpkin on it. Like it wasn't even a like didn't have pumpkin in the name, did it? I don't remember.
I don't think so. Something jack-o'-lantern, I'm sure.
Do you guys think Phyrexia All Will Be One was a good set for draft?
It kind of depends. Like, I've had some of the most fun I've had drafting in this set in a long time. I don't know if it's actually a good set though. Like, I don't know. I think it's extremely punishing to new people.
I think it's super invaluable though. Like this is one of the best sets we've had in a long time that like teaches you how to build a synergized deck.
I don't agree with that.
I think it's just like you have to paint by numbers. I'll take this one. I didn't care for this set. It felt too paint by numbers to me. Like it just didn't allow for too much creativity. And then when you're outside of when you're kind of coloring outside of the lines, trying to do something a little different, it felt like it punished you, honestly, for that. Like you never got a really focused deck. I mean, I understand what you were saying about it's good because you can teach a new player who's coming into it. You can teach a new player who's coming into it to just say like, hey, this is kind of the deck. This is a toxic deck.
Yeah.
Just to preface that, I was trying to mute myself. Just like M's everywhere, all over in our script. Yeah, can we take a sec just to preface this too? Like, what are we talking about here? Like we're just like going over like our final feelings of the format since it's like the last week.
Yeah.
Yep.
Reminiscing.
This is our last week we're going to be drafting this format. So, This
I
is kind of
liked
like
it.
the retrospective. Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked Phyrexia OB1. I don't think it was like too cookie cutter where you didn't have like the creative freedom. Like I think the decks were like kind of on rails where like you kind of like wanted to do a certain thing if you were in certain colors, but I still think there was like some creative freedom in there. And I think there was like a lot of people had a lot of variance in how they valued cards, which I think is really good for like the health of a format. Like some
Mhm.
people just like certain cards better. Like I just liked white blue cards like more than everyone else. So like I ended up in the white blue deck like a lot. Like um and I do think it was good for like a signal, like learning your lesson about like signals and when archetypes open and how to build like a cohesive deck. Like even if you couldn't do it a ton, like you probably did it at least once or twice in this format, like almost everyone did, right? And when they felt that like, oh, this is how a deck should work, like it was like it's kind of eye opening when you do that for the first couple times, right?
Yeah.
I think it really punished people on their card evaluation though. Like way more than I would want in a set though. That's my biggest problem with this set. Like anyone who tried to play Demir just got like mega punished, right?
Yeah, but like
Like they just couldn't do it. Like it's just like not possible unless you just like hardcore grind the hell out of it to figure out the best possible way to play Demir. And you have to clock so many hours to do that to like actually be able to like even have like even going like 2-1. Did we ever see any like 2-1s with Demir?
I mean we
Like
had a 3-0 today
on
or
the
season.
last day
Yeah.
of the format, right?
Yeah.
But like, how many weeks do you just see the
Right.
toxic people just get
Well,
bodied
like
over and over again?
no one else can draft Demir Robi when you're aggressively drafting Demir. Right? Like there
We've
can't be
had
two
three
Demir
pods like
decks.
the
That's
past week.
true, but like I haven't been like in depth of all the 2-1 decks of every pod. Like
Yeah.
um
Like blue was just super unintuitive. I think
yeah.
that was like really bad for the format.
I was gonna say like in response to your point of card evaluation was like kind of a big deal. I like that. Like in Brothers War, it
Mhm.
felt like you could just take anything in your colors and like it was good. Like you know what I mean? Like the cards are like pretty even in power level. So like
There are
even the
traps here though. There are like
Yeah.
actual traps that just sabotage people's decks. And I don't like that. I genuinely don't like that.
yeah, there's hard lessons you gotta learn for sure. But
I don't like that.
Something I
Yeah.
liked about this format too is just the variations within the two color pie too. Or if you were like, I'm Boros, but you could be like, I'm Equipment Boros. I'm kind of this toxic, weird Boros deck now. Or, something like there's a little variation, like how Roby had like almost all spells poison, and then there was this like really control-y, like O3s and stuff like that kind of control deck that wasn't even trying to poison, it was just trying to eke out advantage over the course of the game.
yep.
And I think that's
Yeah,
kinda
there
cool that you could build two completely different species.
yeah. It was definitely an interesting format. I think this is like a not good set for like new players though. I think it's probably like one of the worst sets we've had in a while for new players.
I feel like if you set a new player down in this format, or maybe like you see this on Arena and
Yeah.
you've never drafted it before, I feel like if you said have 8 to 10 2-drop creatures,
Mhm.
know the format's going to be fast, and decide whether you want your creatures to be blockers or attackers,
Mm.
I feel like you would have reasonable success.
Yeah. I could hear people around when we were drafting just like, I think I solved this format already. Like I kind of get it already. Like they kind of figured out the puzzle to this, and there were some new drafters, or people who've been drafting this set for a few weeks now with us, or months, I guess now, right? A month and a half or something we've had this set. And so now they're just like, I'm ready to tackle the next thing now. And I think I'm
Yeah.
getting to that level now too, where I was like, I think we solved this a couple weeks. I think it was pretty solved pretty quickly there.
Yeah.
And it was just like,
Yeah.
Azorius artifacts, like it's that easy.
yeah, I mean, if they keep giving you every week, I mean, how could you?
Yeah.
I just remember hearing Ryan at the end of the table. Well, they're just going to pass me Retrofitter's 8th pick. Like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
Like he's actively trying not to do the deck. It's like just when I'm out, they pull me back in.
Yeah.
I felt that way this week, and
Yeah.
I got like a 6-pick Anoint with Affliction. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, every time.
Like, you son of a bitch, I'm in.
So I had a hot take early on in this format. I said,
A lot of people said this. Yeah.
okay, good. I
It
kept
wasn't
saying,
just him. I will say Andrew said this like
Repeatedly.
during sealed, like before we ever even draft the format. He's like, "Oh my gosh, this is the worst, most bomb heavy format ever."
He said it
And I was
during
like,
set
"Bro,
review.
it's literal sealed.
that's it.
Like
Review.
sealed is literally the most bomb heavy format in existence." Like,
He said it prior to sealed, I think.
I did.
Did he?
For the record,
I
I did
think
say this is a
That's
bomb heavy
funny.
format. I was on that train for about a month, I think. I just kept sneaking them in, but I really think it was a bomb heavy format.
Yeah.
But now, maybe now that the sun's kind of setting on this set, maybe it wasn't so bomb heavy. What do you guys think?
I miss just saying bomb heavy format every time we posted decks with like no rares.
It was such a
That was such a good bit.
We've
was like
had
this.
so many decks without rares that just like won aggressively. Like, yeah, this is the rares are good. I do like that all the rares are good, but they're with the exception of a couple, they're mostly beatable.
Or
Yeah.
reasonable if they're like if they're like really hard to beat. Like if they cost 7, like that's beatable, right? Because like you can just
Yeah.
get under it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So yeah, like some of them that stick out as like not beatable. I think Thrun's kind of broken. I did beat a Thrun this week, but
Yeah.
but he is kind of broken. It feels kind of bad.
Yeah.
Like any of the indestructible gods aren't super fun.
Oh, those guys aren't that bummy. I think
The
those
one
ones
that
are
I
really
say
White
good.
was
that
probably the
I
best one.
absolutely despise that they put in this format was Shieldred. That's the
All the
dumbest thing I've
Praetors,
ever.
yeah.
That's like literally the stupidest thing I've seen in a minute.
I was like mad when we drafted it and someone played like the 6/6 that gets double counters or half
Oh, yeah.
counters. I was like, what the hell? Like I didn't even know that you
Yeah.
could get them.
Yeah, I thought that was only arena exclusive with that Warren Clicks coming out.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the heck?
Vortex,
Yeah. And I was like, that's cool, I guess. Like it was a nice little bonus, but it kind of warped the format. I mean, I never once did try to play against where you're like, oh, this guy must be holding Warren Clicks. You know, like it was rare enough that you didn't have to play around it. But
Yeah.
I
think
remember
they did it more heavy in the early weeks on arena and then they kind of scaled it back.
it felt super dumb and bad. I
Yeah.
hated that about it genuinely.
Yeah.
Like I get it, it's like a flavor thing, but
Like it's cool that you could open a Shieldred. Like, you know, it adds value
it's
to the
like a
pack.
$100 card. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
But like, yeah, it was kind of
For
weird
draft,
for
it's
draft.
terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not like upset with the decision for them to like reprint like high value cards, right? But
Mhm.
I don't know. I will say, Atraxa was the best bomb in the format. Period.
Yeah, I can believe that. That seems
Yeah.
really hard to beat.
It's just like it gave you a bunch of advantage, and I don't even know if I agree with that because it's like relatively easy to kill.
What's your best bomb in the format?
Like probably it's tough. Like, what's the other?
Nissa,
The
Archfina the Dross,
no,
Miklos?
the indestructible green guy that gives all your creatures
Double their
double
stuff.
double.
Oh,
He also can put an indestructible counter on himself though. It doesn't
Zopandrel,
cost
Hunger,
any.
Dominus, and it costs
That
7
card's
to force its
really
reach.
stupid. There's a couple really dumb ones, but that one feels particularly stupid. Like the fact they can make it indestructible
That's
feels
way
really
down.
bad.
That's below Drown and Acre and Improvement when drawn.
Okay. That card's real stupid though.
I
It
think
is, but like,
I think
like
mine was
Miss.
Oh.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was
sorry.
gonna say mine was probably Eternal Wanderer.
Yeah, that card was.
Eternal Wanderer was really stupid. Kyle was really dumb. Eternal Wanderer was dumber though, because it could like board wipe.
Yeah, just like right off the bat, and you get to choose their creature too. So it's
Yeah,
like,
so you pick the one you put you stuck a mesmerizing dose on.
yeah,
I think it's correct in some situations when you're playing against the Wandering Emperor, like to like actively kill one of your guys before they can do the thing.
Like your
Like
weak guy.
yeah, or
Yeah.
not, or like if you have like a guy with like a planar disruption on him,
Yeah.
like I think like there are some lines where it's like actually correct to kill it before they're able to ultimate it.
Yep.
But
Real quick, the stats say like Atraxa, then Sholdred, which is so stupid. And
Yeah.
then Nissa, Archfiend of the Dross, Miglos, Eternal
Nissa's
Wonder,
down. Yeah.
White Suns and Blue Suns, and then Kaido, which is weird, but
Kaido's
Kaido.
not very good. Like
Yeah.
I went 2-1 with a deck with 2 Kaidos. Like Kaido's pretty mid. I played many a Kaidos in this format.
He improves the deck that he's in because it's like in Demir, right? By like 10%. Like he's just like so good.
Does it really? I don't
Yeah.
even think he's that good. He's good just for like the token, right? The token's good.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of people play the blue black deck with like toxic creatures, right? And then they make it to where they can't attack or block, and then they hit them, and then they make it to where another thing can't attack or block. I'm like, that's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yep. So
But
yeah. Go ahead, man.
do you guys think it was really a super fast format?
Nah. That was all cap.
You just gotta hedge your bets, right?
I think you gotta
Yeah.
hedge your bets. Like
I
you
mean,
gotta
it
have
could be.
Yeah, there was so many good 2 drops in this set, and I really feel like the starting the curve on 2 or a little bit of 1s, more 2s, 3s, that kind of curve was pretty nice rather than just like a really nice bell curve there, a little bit
Yeah.
more skewed to the other side. I thought that was pretty good, but I think as the format evolved, I think people started finding those O3 walls. Actually, some of the stuff that we had said earlier, those 1-3s and things like that, people
Mhm.
kind of found those and realized that was a good way just to stop the 2-2 menaces or whatever.
Even Rustvine Cultivator was like pretty good at blocking, right?
Like every 1-2 for 1 was like pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
those mites actually, just blocking mites was pretty good or holding them at bay.
I think in the beginning, like Crawling Chorus was like such a menace, right?
Yeah.
Where,
Yeah.
like you didn't know how oppressive that card is, right?
Right. Like it was like step 1, play crawling chorus, and then they're just corrupted. Like crawling chorus on
Yeah.
1, like corrupted so many people early.
I definitely did that this week. I was like, first turn crawling chorus. It was just like, ooh.
Like I have been hard pressed, like see a 1-drop in a format that like your opponent plays it, and then you look at your hand and you're like, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Crawling Chorus, like genuinely, fully by itself beats Demir.
You just
Like
see
it's so bad.
down and you're like, fuck. Like I'm gonna this is gonna be a tough game.
I've cited in minor missteps on the play against crawling chorus decks. Like genuinely, like so terrible.
Yeah, that's funny.
But like once you just like learn that you just need like a 1-2 or a 1-3,
Yeah, it's
they're
fine.
all good. All the 1-3s are good. Genuinely.
Once you learn you need like just 10 random 2-drops, right? Like it's fine. You can still do late game stuff. Like you just have
Yeah.
to be ready for the early game stuff.
Very much so.
I've noticed like the value of the 1-drops really started to fall off, like especially now. Like I'm so much less afraid of like the random saw blade scamps or like
Oh yeah.
all the random 1-drops now.
I don't know. Rustbound Cultivator still scares me.
But there's like nothing you can really do about that aside from like hard removal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
that's just like save your removal for the thing they ramp out type card, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I
Do
don't
you
want to see
think
no
they
champion level.
nerfed poison too much?
I do think it's better than Infect was for draft because like you don't have
I
to
never
fully
drafted
commit to
Infect.
the poison.
Yeah. That's
But
something I
that's like
don't-
such a trap though, right?
Yeah, but like your dude's like doing
I
damage
guess
too
like
was
the
like such a
corrupted
big deal.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. It actually
Yeah.
paced out pretty well. You were always like, if you had the split kind of toxic and regular damage deck, like it kind of just kept pace with each other, which was kind of nice.
Yeah, like sometimes the
Toxic.
toxic. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Sometimes the toxic just didn't matter, but like when it did matter and like your deck where it's not exposed to, it was kind of cool. Like, you win because they gained like a bunch of life, but you still got them to like 10 poison. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Toxic, like the main toxic deck, I think everyone would agree, like the main toxic deck should have been like black green, right? But it was terrible. And like yeah, go ahead.
I'd say green white, but yeah.
But
I
like the biggest problem I had was like Hex Gold Slash is like too good against that deck, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kills like
Like-
every toxic creature except like the 1/5,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
Yeah, it
pretty
feels like Midnight Hunt. And do you guys remember in Midnight Hunt how like red green was like by far the worst archetype? Because, and part of the reason why that was there was like a 1-mana removal spell that just killed any werewolf for no reason. It just killed any werewolf.
Silver Bolt, baby.
Like just like that deck just got it was a colorless artifact
Yeah.
that cost 1 mana. You could tap it for 2 and kill any werewolf
and sack it, right?
Yeah.
and sack it, right? Yeah.
It was
And
made
it
of
was just
silver.
like,
It
what was
made
it
of
called?
silver.
Yeah, it was like
like
silver something.
it was
But
silver
like
bolt.
Hex
Silver
Gold
Bolt or
Slash,
Yeah.
Hex Gold Slash
Yeah.
feels like that in this format, and it kind of just like bodies all the
Yeah,
toxic shenanigans.
there needed to be like a green, a white, or a white shore up. Like, right? Like
Yeah, they
one
had
mana save your dude and buff type thing.
they had it, but it was like at uncommon, right? Tyvar's stand.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's not gonna work against Hex Cold Slash. Like it's gotta be a common. And it's like maybe like +1/+1 and like save your dude.
Yeah, they had like the mazes and like the enchantment, the 2/2 that
That
gives
was
something
way
has,
too expensive.
but it was so expensive and like literally unplayable.
Yeah.
Like if your opponent tried a Hex Gold Slash like end of your turn or whatever, and you played that, like it didn't matter to them at all. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just feels so bad that there's like a 1-drop that can just kill your 4/4.
Yeah.
Like that's so punishing.
It's pretty
Yeah.
brutal.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss some of the good synergies. I'm definitely gonna miss the blue white artifact deck.
I'm gonna miss Demir. Like Demir was like probably one of my favorite like draft archetypes I played in a minute. Since like Ravnica, what's the Ravnica one? Oh, Guilds of Ravnica, where they had the blue black disinformation campaign deck.
Oh yeah.
This is like my favorite draft archetype since then.
Nice.
I love it. But
I'm gonna miss the danger I felt being at like 7 poison, 8 poison.
Yeah.
I felt like I was really playing on the edge. I was like, "Whoo!" I was sweating bullets. Like every time, I was like, How much poison? 8? Oh man!" And I'm just gonna miss that feeling, like just being on the edge of my seat. Like they could get me at any moment here.
oh,
Yeah.
it's such a high, right? Like
Yeah.
that's why I love playing Demir, right? Because like you're at like 2 life, you have like 8 poison counters on them. You're like, oh man, this is sweaty. Like every game you almost die.
Yeah.
And it's so fun. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I'm really gonna miss that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'm not gonna miss though. I'm not gonna miss my creative soul being so stunted by all these cookie cutter archetypes. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna kind of miss like just some of the. I'm not gonna miss the. I don't know, man. I think I really am not gonna miss the creativity, like just stifling. I think I said that as a joke at first, but now I'm really thinking about it. I'm gonna really enjoy just having more colors to paint with, not being punished for going 3 colors.
Yeah, I feel that too for sure. Like definitely I'm never gonna miss Necrogen Rot Priest. I hate that card. It's stupid.
Oh,
But yeah.
I'm not gonna miss how oppressive red could be, like with Hex Gold Slash into Chimney Rabble into Furnace Strider. It's just like
Yeah.
just getting just beat down. Like
And it just happens so often, right? Like
yeah,
this is not fun.
it's so accessible. Like
that was
1
brutal.
drop, kill your thing. 2 drop, like play a decent card, and then continue to just
Yeah.
play haste creatures until you die.
That was
Yeah.
pretty brutal. That was a pretty strong.
They
line.
gave him too much haste, I think.
They did. They did too much
They
high
went-
end haste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That Furnace Strider was just so brutal in that because it's like haste himself and then haste the next thing, and you were just already on the ropes there.
How can you deal with a 4/5 haste that also gives your 6 drop haste? Like,
It's so so dumb.
I'm not
My
gonna
goodness.
how good Dune Mover is either, by the way.
I'm gonna miss Dune Mover for sure.
Oh yeah, they could put Dune Mover in every set. And I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, we love Dune Mover.
I genuinely do love Dune Mover.
I do too.
I think they should like reprint it in like every set going forward, like they did to Colossal Dreadmaw. like genuinely, it would make every format just a little bit better.
Like, when's like the last time that you remember like a single card that went in like literally every archetype in a format?
Oh my gosh.
So good, so
It
good,
is.
genuinely.
Like, it's an artifact. It's toxic. It's
It
a
has
good card
toxic,
drop,
yeah.
Like, it gets you your lands for Gruul. Like, it does everything that you need to do. Like, it's so good.
I love it. Yeah,
I
you
do
could
too.
keep the most garbage hands
Yeah.
you've ever seen in your life
Just
with a
try to
Dune
trigger
Mover
me.
in it. Two
Hey.
lands, doesn't
Oh.
matter what color they are. He's colorless. He doesn't discriminate.
Yeah.
Like,
All hail Dune Mover.
Definitely
love
not
Dune
good.
Mover.
Oh my gosh.
We need him in every set, Wizards, please.
Yeah. Yep.
Wouldn't that be so funny if they did that though? Like just like
Oh,
one
man.
random toxic creature in every single set.
That would be hilarious.
Oh
And there
man.
would be like that one person who gets like 6 of them and can poison you out of the game.
Yeah.
Oh man.
If they put a Shieldred in new packs, they might as well just put Dune Mover, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's what I'm gonna miss for sure.
Yeah. Dune Movers. I'm gonna miss Dune Movers.
RIP Dune Mover.
And I'm gonna especially miss the times early in the format where we're getting Dune Movers criminally.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was so good.
Where you could play like 13 lands because you had like 6 Dune Movers. Yeah, I love that.
Never did that, but yeah.
Yeah,
did
I
that.
never partook in that either.
Every Dune Mover is a land you can cut. Genuinely. Because you're just
No.
gonna draw it.
Every
Kind of a
two.
hot
Every two. That
That's
was
kind of a hot
crazy.
take.
Every 2 Dune Movers you can easily cut a land, but
Oh,
one
man.
is rough.
Okay, a Dune Mover and a Skull Bomb you can cut a land, right?
No, 2 Dune Movers. Like
I will
you
say-
start off at 16, you play 16 lands in this format, and then every 2 Dune Movers you can drop 1.
I will say another thing that I'm gonna dearly miss in this format is the Skull Bombs. I really like the Skull Bombs.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
I actually did. Like I played them every week. I don't think I have had played literally any deck without a single Skull Bomb. Like I put them in every deck I play. Like even the off-color ones sometimes.
I'll miss being able to shave a land. Like being 16 lands in this format felt really good. It just felt right. I played 17. I didn't feel good. I was like, this doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
I'm at 15 in this format. Like most of my decks play 15 lands.
Yeah.
This last one had 16, but I was playing 3 colors.
Yeah. Oh man.
You guys just want to talk about our ratings next?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good to me.
I was cherry picking.
So just to preface this, we do a set review at the beginning of every set, and we say some wild shit. And we're gonna kind of go back a little bit, hold ourselves a little accountable, especially Andrew,
Oh
because
my
he says
God.
the wildest shit at the beginning of every set. It always runs it back and is completely wrong.
Like, for example, there's this 1/4 card in this set called Gataxian Raptor,
Mhm.
and it comes into play with 3 oil counters. You can remove oil counter to give it +1, -1. And Andrew gave it a 3, and I just am curious. Do you have eyes, Andrew?
So good. It
I
was
didn't
so
re-
good.
I didn't realize like the oil would be so plentiful, and how
Yeah,
like
because of proliferate.
in my defense, I thought the format was going to be a lot slower than that, and most of the guys would be able to plow through that, dude. I didn't realize the format was going to be no, you just need a bunch of 2 drops and 1 drops, and we're good to go. Actually, just a bunch of 2 drops is good enough, and this 1/4 wall would just hold off everything.
Yeah, that's true.
One for
I gave it
in
a
the
6. No big
sky,
deal.
yeah.
Oh,
Didn't
gosh.
I give it a 6 too? Or
You
did I
gave
give
it a 5. Yeah.
I was thinking he gave it a 7.
Well, I'm gonna hit you with this. Andrew did a pretty good job on this one because Robi, me and you gave Meldweb Curator a 7.
Ah,
That's the
I've,
3/4. That
I've
puts it
come
into the
around
4/3.
to it a little
A
bit. It's
7,
definitely not a
Roby?
7. It's
A
definitely
7?
not a 7. It's like a 5 on a good day with a strong tailwind, right? Like it's so bad, but I've played it in decks where I've had like the Twilights. It's felt good.
It's last pick of a lot of packs.
Yeah.
What did I give it? Like a 3?
You gave
Yeah.
it no, you gave it a 4. You gave it
I give it a 4. All right. I was being generous.
That I think that's like a fair place to put it. Like
Uh,
there's some days where you want to play it.
We-
But you also did give Tamio's Immobilizer a 4, Andrew, and I
Mm.
think that's a little bit criminal. But
Did we look
you
at
know,
I
Font
don't.
progress?
Font of Progress, yeah.
Yeah,
Gave it a 7 and a
yeah,
9.
that's my claim to fame. That's my worst one.
That was your hot take for sure. You're like, you were just excited to play with it though.
I played it one time. It was so bad. It was just
Yeah, me
way too slow for this format.
For our listeners, they were giving out 7 and 8s to that Font of progress. I gave it a
I
straight
give
0.
I give it a 9.
Yeah.
I give
Oh
it a
my
9.
god!
Yeah, Andrew is always a little bit like puts everything super low. I feel like
I
compared to
think
everyone else.
I think there is a format where a font of progress could flourish.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
There is for sure. Like if there wasn't just all these like aggro 2-drops. If
Dominaria
Clone Quest
United.
didn't exist.
Dominaria United.
Yeah, we could have played that in Dominaria United for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe even Brothers War, because you just slap a
Oh, I don't think that could
Might
survive
Stone's
Brothers War.
animation on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
and
good to
because a
go.
Mindstone animation target, it'd just be terrible other way. That format was actually even faster than this one.
I think so. I thought so. Genuinely, yeah. There wasn't ways to like stem the bleeding that there is in this format for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there weren't just like a trillion 1-3s floating around.
Yep. Andrew gave Unctus's Retrofitter a 4 also.
I did.
That
What'd you
card
give
was
it?
a bum. An
What'd you
8.
give it? That's
An
pretty
8.
good. You were pretty accurate to you
Did
stayed
I
true
give
to
it
yourself.
like a 7?
Yeah, you gave it a 7. I'm streaming
Yeah.
this if you guys want to see it, like while I'm doing it. If you guys want to see the grades. Okay.
Good.
What about for green?
What's everyone's favorite archetype? Okay. So what white cards? Tell your favorite cards in an archetype. So Andrew's is Gruul, mine's Demir, Ryan's is Azorius. And tell us how we're wrong about the cards in that archetype.
I'd say like for Gruul, Rustvine Cultivator, Chimney
Okay.
Rabble, Furnace Strider, and then Hex Gold Slashes to round it all out.
All right.
Okay.
Roby and I gave Rosefane Cultivator a 6. You gave it a 4.
Oh no! Oh no!
So we're more right about your favorite archetype than you are, for sure.
Well, was there any other green ones? Vorak, we all gave like 7s and 6s.
I hope we gave Vorak its due.
Who gave the lowest on Vorak?
You too. I gave it a 7. You guys gave it a 6.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty good from.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
fair.
that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And then you
Hopefully.
said some red cards.
Yeah, Chimney Rabble. Oh, let's see Chimney Rabble for us.
Axiom
Cool.
Engraver, we gave 4s and 5s.
I already know that I probably gave Chimney Rabble a pretty high score.
I gave it a 5. Roby gave it a 7. You gave it a 6.
Wow, that's
So I
pretty
was
good.
right. I was right.
Yeah.
I would say Andrew was right.
Well,
but
what
yeah.
made you give it a 5, Ryan?
I don't remember. I just thought like a 3/3 for 4 that like just made a random 1/1 wasn't good enough. I didn't realize how important that 1/1 blocker would be, I guess.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Furnace
Yeah, I just
Strider.
saw it as like a 4/4 for 4 that also kind of had haste. They had like pseudo haste because like 3 points of the 4 damage, 4 power and
Oh,
toughness.
no.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just looked at Hex Gold Slash. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh
The
no.
offense is coming. Furnace Strider, me and Roby gave a 6 and Andrew gave a 4.
I was wrong on that. I was wrong on that. It was definitely more towards the 6 category.
And Hex Gold Slash. I gave a 7. Roby gave it a 6. And Andrew's sticking tight with them 4s.
That's funny.
man. I had no idea toxic. It would just be so efficient against toxic creatures. Oh man, that thing was
I
much
would
better than that.
I would say Ryan was the only one who was right about that. Even me giving that a 6, I kind of saw it as like a shock that just only hit creatures.
Hmm.
And like there's been a lot of formats where like shock's kind of bad. like Kaldheim was kind of bad, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
the frostbite or whatever. Like shocks that only hit creatures are way worse than like shocks. I didn't realize like how disgusting it was to like hit a 5-drop with it and kill it.
It's kind of like an 8, right? Like it's more
It
than a
is like
7.
it's like
Like the
hyper
best
efficient.
common.
Yeah, it's like one of the best removal spells in the
Man,
format.
we gave Volt
So
Charge
efficient.
eights all around for Volt Charge.
Yeah, we thought Polo was
Yeah,
gonna matter. You gave it a 6.
Oh, did I?
Andrew,
I think it
Andrew
was
gave it a
more of a
6?
5. Yeah,
I think it
Andrew
was
gave
more
a
of a 5.
6. Yeah, I think it's.
I think 6 is like fair.
6 is close. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that was good. Churning Reservoir, Andrew gave it a 3, and then played it more than literally anyone I've ever seen.
I think I might have put in more. Because I had that. Do you remember week 1? I had that weird is it deck where I had like 2 of them?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, like I played it quite a bit.
that's true. That's double. I played
Yeah.
it. I put it in one deck once, I think. I was
Well,
like, this is
what
dumb.
did we give on it? What did we give on it?
I gave it a 5. You gave it a 7, and Andrew gave it a 3. We were pretty split on that one.
Yeah.
Yep.
What about for Demir Roby?
Yeah.
Okay, so the core comments: annoyed with affliction, prologue to Phyresis, which is going to be like the hottest topic.
Annoyance straight
Probably
7.
Vraska's Fall,
Oh,
Infectious Inquiry, Bring the Ending, and probably let me come up with a couple uncommons. Bilious Skull Dweller and Voidwing Hybrid.
Vraska's Fall, we gave 4s and 3s to, which is fair. I still
feels
think it's
fair.
at that level.
Yeah.
I think in Demir it goes up quite a bit. What did I give it? Did I give it like a 4?
Yeah.
Or 3?
I gave it a 3.
Infectious Inquiry, we gave all 5s to. Anoint, we gave all 7s to. Bilious Scoldwell, I don't know why my rating's on here, but you gave it a 6 and Andrew gave it a 5.
I think it was actually closer to a 6 or a 7. That guy was
I think,
pretty
yeah,
strong.
He was very
7 to
good.
8, honestly. Like I
Yeah.
think you took him over removal quite a bit. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
He was very strong.
Drown Nicker, we gave 8s because it's dumb.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
super
that's
dumb. Yeah, that's like probably the best Demir card.
Yep. Necro Titan, you gave a 6 to.
I would probably go up now. Honestly, Necrotitan's very good. Like a 4-mana 6/6 is it like positions itself very well in the format. I think
What
to
was
be able to
Prologue
block
prices?
big dumb beaters like Furnace Riders.
Prologue to Phyresis, we both gave 5s and Andrew gave a 3. I'm leaning more towards Andrew with that one. Obviously,
Yeah.
There's
Ooh,
only
fine.
one deck that should
Ooh.
ever play that card.
I have Malcator. Oh,
What did we give I Malcator?
I gave it a 4. You gave it a 5, and Andrew gave it a 2. I think it is about a 5. Like it's
I
not.
think so. Yeah.
It's not super necessary in the deck. It's just kind of. It's just a signal that the deck is there.
Yep. That's how
sorry.
I feel about like Prologue to Phyresis. Yeah.
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 It's
Chrome
like
Prowler, I gave
similar
it 7. You gave it 6, but
What did I give Chrome Prowler?
a 5.
A 5.
I think Andrew was probably right about that.
It was really good when you were in the aggro deck, but other than that,
Yeah. I didn't realize that like its flash was just a trap. like,
Yeah.
like it shouldn't have had I don't know why they give it flash.
It wasn't
Oh
always a
my
trap. Like
gosh.
sometimes it was super useful.
I gave Glistener Seer a 0.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh man, that poor guy.
I gave Bring the Ending a 7, and you gave it a 6.
I gave it a 4.
Andrew gave it a 4.
I think it's probably like a 6
I'm such a harsh
I mean,
judge.
in Demir,
in the
Sure.
mirror, right? Yeah.
Man, I'm
and
such
every
a
other
harsh
day.
judge here.
You
It's like a
are.
4.
You just must have been having a bad day.
I think Bring the Ending's a little better than just a 4 though, because like just to bring up another irrelevant archetype, I think it's good in Semic too. I think the Simic deck wants all the Bring the Endings too.
I don't think I ever
Which
saw a
is
Civic
another-
deck just rolling around.
I saw Ryan had a good Simic deck one week.
Yeah, it was decent. It was decent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's most of them. I don't think we had Y. I wonder what we gave Crawling Course.
Ooh.
We gave it 6s and Andrew gave it a 4.
It was
Of
probably,
course.
it was probably a
Of
little bit
course.
higher. I think I may have been a little too harsh on the guy.
I think 6 is like a good place for it.
Ooh, man.
You gave Basilica Shepherd an 8. I remember everyone was so hyped about Basilica Shepherd.
I thought
It's
it was
still good though. I think it's
It's
still
okay.
a 6.
Yeah, it's fine. Like I think Andrew was close with the 6.
Oh, I know a card I had a wild take on. Testament Bear.
Oh yeah, that was,
Oh.
I kept calling it Organ Hoarder. So like
I think as much as we didn't play it, I thought it was still a pretty good card though.
I like started loving it, hated it, and then went back.
you gave
So
it
now
an
I play
8.
it.
Gave it an 8. Oh my
I play it
God.
begrudgingly now.
An 8. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It didn't come up that often that they would like annoy with affliction it, you know?
yeah.
Like that's what I was usually afraid of.
And, Mandible Justiciar was probably my favorite white card, and Andrew gave it a 2. I gave it a 6, and Roby gave it a 5. But it was only
I-
good in the one deck. So
Yeah, I think it was. I would probably maybe go up to a 6. I'll admit I'm wrong. What about you, Andrew? You still think it's a 2?
No, I thought it was pretty good in the format actually. I thought it
Yeah.
was a little bit higher now. I was a little bit
It
harsh
goes
on
in a couple decks. Like you can play it in red white too, right?
I did.
yeah,
Yeah. There was a lot more artifacts than I thought.
yeah. There ended up being a ton of artifacts, really.
So overall, on the DBZ power level, what would we give this set?
I did give ossification a 2. Holy crap. That had to be a typo. That had
That's
to be a typo.
horrible. That is
Jawbone Duelist
trifling.
2. I may have just not rated those very well. Oh man, that was pretty bad.
Me and Ryan both give it an 8.
Swooping Lookout actually turned out to be much better than a 2
Very
or a
good.
5.
Very strong
Yeah.
card.
Yeah.
1/2 vigilance. Yeah, I was like the 3rd best uncommon for like Azorius artifacts.
Yeah, I thought that was really the kind of key to unlocking that aggro Azorius deck there.
It was very strong.
Right?
Yeah, I think this set was fairly powerful. I don't
Yeah.
know. What do you guys think?
No, how much did you like it on a scale from 1 to 10?
Honestly, I give it like a 7.5.
Yeah,
I give Okay.
I'm at 7.
I'm at about I'm probably honestly like a 6.
The pessimist of the group.
I know.
We all know that whatever our ratings are, Andrew's is gonna be lower.
I just came off loving Brothers War. Like
Yeah.
I really did. I
got
really
tired
enjoyed it.
of
I
Brothers War.
loved it. I thought it was just so fun. Just oh man. Yeah, I missed Brothers War. There was a lot of cool interactions, but
I kind of feel like this set kind of went by too fast.
I feel like the
A little bit.
timing's good, honestly.
I thought
think
I had
it's
just
perfect.
I still think there's like some exploration to be had, you know?
Yeah, there. I mean, I feel like that'll be true for a lot of sets, though.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, but
yeah,
it's
we'll
pretty
see.
good set. Bad for new players. Don't recommend for new players at all.
I completely disagree.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I'm leaning with Ryan on this one. It seems like one of those ones where you can crack the thing and just kind of show them, hey, here are the archetypes, or here's a little cheat sheet on archetypes, and they're like, okay, I think I want to try this deck today. And you
Like,
can probably
according to Roby's worldview, like I understand why he says that because like he thinks. All right, I'm speaking for you right now, but I think it's fine.
This is
Like-
the spanking your kids argument that we always everything we do
Like-
devolves into, right?
Roby thinks like you have to have like positive
Yeah,
reinforcement,
this is
but
spanking your kids argument. It's genuinely. This is worldview, like lifestyle choice discussion kind of thing, right?
yeah, but like I'm like a proponent of like sometimes you have to get beat down and be like, oh,
Yeah.
like not in real life. I feel like it's bad. Like I have to
extend it to that, right?
I feel like I have to like clarify, not in real life because of this weird spot Roby put me in.
Might as well, right?
But like you just have to like have some eye-opening losses sometimes to just be like, oh, that's how you do it. And then like this set's good for that. Kind of.
I don't know because like the way you lose in the set, most of the time it doesn't feel close. And I think that's a really bad feeling.
I think that's kind of can be a good feeling because like when games feel too close, a lot of people will be like, oh, I just got land screwed. Oh, like I just didn't hit my like things. Like, oh, like when you get like destroyed, you're like, oh, my deck's just worse. Like I need to do that. Right?
Yeah, I don't know. It was a very feel baddy kind of set, like when you were losing. Like there were just like board states where it's just like, oh, I just automatically lose. It felt like very rock, paper, scissors with the archetypes too.
Those moments where your opponent just built something, you're like, oh, I can just never beat this. That's like good for you sometimes, though, is what I'm trying to say.
I've definitely given people that feeling with playing Demir.
Right.
like Where they're like, oh, all these Demir cards are terrible, but I'm just getting wrecked by this. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll have to see how this one like holds up to the next one. I'm more hopeful for the next one.
I'm excited too. I think it's
Onward
cool.
we march to March of the Machines.
You guys see that new mechanic in it?
The battles, yeah, that seems wild. I have no idea how to evaluate that.
Hot take: this is
it's
going to be a
fun.
really slow format.
Hopefully,
I feel like
ready
it
for
is
one.
because I feel like people are just going to get distracted by those battles.
They're gonna
I
be
guess.
bad and limited. They're gonna be really. I mean, they're not gonna be terrible, but like I'm more talking about incubate to like incubate is sick.
I haven't even seen that.
There's like cards that say like incubate 2 or incubate 1 or incubate 3, and what it does is you create a token with 2+1/+1 counters, and then it's basically like a clue token. You pay 2 and it transforms into a 0/0 with all the counters on it. I feel like that's gonna be so good.
That's cool.
Like, what's better than a clue token? Like a dude that's already a body on the board at
A
instant speed.
2/2. I love clue tokens. Clue tokens are very fun mechanic though.
Yeah.
Clues are fun.
Yeah,
But
those are going to be.
I don't know if people can just make 1,000,000 2/2s for free. Like, if every clue token I've played in the last couple sets I've played with that clue tokens were 2/2s, it would feel really bad. like
Like it would be
I
dominant.
feel like that would not be a slow format at all. Like that would just be, yeah. I love the dirtliness of clue tokens, where you're just spending 2 mana to not affect the board in any meaningful way. And yeah, I love clue tokens.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully they're not like as plentiful as clue tokens because that would be wild.
Yeah, that'd be horrible.
We'll see.
Or like, what's the other one? From War of the Spark, where you make the zombie, where you just keep a mass. Yeah. Yeah, that was a fun mechanic.
That was pretty balanced, I felt like.
It was because it's like at any given time they could only have one, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Which like made it so much more manageable. But also it still felt powerful when you had like a 10/10 a mass token just killing.
Yeah.
that you proliferated into oblivion, so it's like a 10/10.
I'm kind of hoping that these incubates are like somewhere between a mass and decay tokens. Like the decay tokens are just too much too, right?
Yeah. Yep. So is that all we have this week?
I think so.
Yeah, check us out next week. We're going to be doing our sub reviews, so stay posted. Fill out our little forms that we're going to make, that we make every time, that like one person fills out. Like, yeah, just if you want to rate the sets, we have like the best form for
We
that,
do,
right?
And it's
genuinely
super
do.
helpful before you go to a pre-release to at least look at every card and consider it and give it a rating. Like it'll boost your win percentage in
Probably like 20%, right?
I'd say at
Maybe
least 40,
20.
50%,
50%.
maybe a 70%.
No. Just 100. Like you won't lose.
Just 100%.
Right?
Yeah. Like if you're the only one that did that,
you wouldn't lose. Genuinely, right? If you were the only person who did it, it would put you at a massive advantage. For
like
sure.
you could still lose, but like you would definitely.
It really helps, like going to the pre-release, and you like don't have to read every single card.
Yeah.
Or like already having an idea of it before you start to play them. Yep. Definitely helps. But
what percent do you think it helps, Andrew?
Probably helps about like 35%.
35%? You
That's
really think
huge.
that if you just went from like not doing that at all and just going in completely blind,
I think the time
and you have like a
part.
40% win rate, you go from 40 to 80?
Wait, 40
That's
to 80?
insane.
Whoa.
I think
You
like
said 35%.
like
Oh,
I
I
think
thought this
doing
meant,
that by
like-
itself will give you 1 or 2 games that you maybe wouldn't have got at least.
Yeah, that's what I said, like a 10%.
Like
10% win
bump
rate.
in your average win rate? Oh man,
Yeah.
that's a variable. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's variable, but I think it is super helpful.
It's meaningful.
For you
It
to
is
do.
a meaningful advantage for sure.
I think it's just helpful when you're constructing your deck to know like a certain power level of cards or a certain just to be familiar with them. saving
I-
that extra time so you can build your best deck
Yeah.
and not
I
feel
agree.
pressured by that like 50 minutes that you got because you're still
Uh,
trying to read everything, still trying to evaluate everything. Do yourself a favor and listen and rate them.
Yeah, rate them yourself is super valuable.
Yeah, get that nice tactile kind of feel.
Yeah, sounds good. Yep. Is that all we got?
I think so.
That's it.
Alrighty. Bye.
Catch you boys on the 50th.
Bye.